Everybody, happy Friday. Happy Friday, day before Earth Day. One of my favorite Fridays. Good Friday is another Friday of mine that's one of my favorites. But I love Fridays in general. The energy is good. It's the end of the work week. And as I promised to you, here I am again for a Friday Live. I almost forgot because I was so caught up in some things that I wanted to get done. But I hope you've had a wonderful week. I hope you had the opportunity to tune into the live event I did yesterday with Jessica Stevens. It was so good. We were talking about beauty and the B Corps, and why B Corps are so important for where we are right now, just in terms of brands and our usage of brands. And Jess and I thought it was a perfect time of year to really dig down into that because Earth Day is tomorrow. So what are you doing for Earth Day tomorrow where you are, whether you're here in the States where I am, or up in Canada where Jess is, or if you're in the UK, if you're in Africa, Asia, where are you? I'd love to know where you are on the planet and what you're doing to honor and celebrate Earth Day. I know for me, I'm going to get out and do some gardening. I've got so many weeds to pull. And speaking of weeds, I want to talk to you about something that I do every Monday morning. I send out Mindset Mastery. It's a newsletter that really is very short and sweet, and it's really just all about helping you to launch your week with clarity, courage, and confidence. It's a short newsletter, goes out every Monday. If you want to get on that mailing list, I'll drop the deets in the comments. But people seem to love that newsletter, and I love writing it. Everything that goes out from me is from me. So I don't have the Mindset Mastery is not, anyone else's words. They're my words that come to me, my shower moments, or even my, during my meditation and during my walks, that I just want to share with people in my community. And by my community, I mean folks who are tuned into what's going on at SIVA Health and the SIVA Institute. And for those of you who don't know me, who are just tuning in, I'm Angel Shannon, founder and executive director of SIVA Health and the SIVA Institute. And at SIVA, it really is all about bringing mindfulness and compassion in action to help you live longer and live better. That really is it. That's what we do at the SIVA Health, at the SIVA Institute, and at SIVA Health. And speaking of weeds, as I was just saying, I was thinking about something that I wrote in Mindset Mastery and a conversation that I had. I ran into an old colleague the other day, and she was telling me about the fact that, here in midlife, things get a little tough for obvious reasons. But one of the things that she's struggling with is the reboot and the reset, like figuring out her own what's next. And she was saying, I am so over this career. She's in healthcare like I am. And she said, Angel, I'm not even burnt out. I am just beyond, I'm over it. I'm just over it. I'm feeling demoralized. I feel like I could never catch up. Just all the things. Anyone who's in healthcare, raise your hand, and send me a message and say, I'm feeling it. Let me know if this resonates for you. But there's just this general sort of apathy and a feeling of being, just really not even physically tired. I think people are just sort of I don't know what the word is, but I just know that a lot of people who are at the stage that I am in healthcare, which is, I'm celebrating my 30th year in healthcare this year. A lot of people are I just can't do this for another 10 years. I'll also say there are a lot of people in academia who are feeling the same way for many of the same reasons. It's interesting how those two career paths are very similar, but people finding a lot of ladies and gentlemen in healthcare and academia that are just really, really over it. So anyhow, she was just saying to me, she said, but you know something? I said, well, what do she said, I'm just over it. And I said, well, what do you want to do? I mean, how many more years do you have to go before retirement? And she said, oh my God, I have at least, if all goes well, if the market stays stable, I'll have at least 7 more years to go. And that is a very, conservative, assessment is what she was saying. And so we know that the markets are up and up and up and down and down and down and wild rides in the market. And she's like, I know I'm only fooling myself. It's probably going to be 10 to 12 years. And I was like, wow, that's a long time. So what do you want to do? And she started to explain to me this dream that she has of, opening up a center where she'll be doing like a lot of sort of work with, I think it has something to do with like rural healthcare. So she wants to do like rural healthcare initiatives, work. She lives, in an area where there's a lot of access. There's a lot of need for rural healthcare services, and so she wants to do something to do with that and working with families, and then weaving in some other things. But the bottom line is, this is a dream that she has had for a long, long, long time. And I know this because when we first met, she was telling me about a rural health initiative and how she had done some global health work. In fact, she had even gone on a mission trip with Doctors Without Borders. And I was fascinated by that. And so that's how we, started our conversations and things. And I said, well, why don't you do that? Why don't you make this switch? It's been a dream of yours for so long, and you've got it all written out and whatnot. And she said, well, you know what? I'm just waiting for things to slow down. I'm just waiting. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. I've got, my kid, my young adult children, such and such. You guys know the drill. If you have followed me long enough, I talk a lot about midlife. I talk about this midlife thing, right? So she was saying, I've got all of this going on. I don't have the time. I've got to work, I've got to put in these hours. So she sees patients, and then she's got, after hour, administrative duties to take care of and whatnot. And then the children and all this kind of thing. And they're not young children. These are young adult children. So she was saying to me, I'm waiting for life to slow down enough that I can get started on crafting the life that I want for myself. So here's the analogy that I gave her. When I was a kid, there were a number of us in the community. I grew up in a beautiful community of children, lots of families, very diverse, lots of kids of the same age. So we played together. We got in trouble together. We went to the same schools together. It's not, my childhood wasn't like what it is now, where kids in the same neighborhood barely know each other and they're all going to different schools and whatnot. My childhood wasn't like that. We all went to the same public school. Our parents were working class. We played together. We got in trouble together. Other parents parented us. So when someone else's parent yelled at you or whatever, there was no talking back or anything like that. So I just had a very different childhood than I see, what it is now. But anyhow, so I was saying to her that we were all bike riders. We loved riding our bikes. I mean, we'd be lost, riding our bikes together. We were also skateboarders. And I'll never forget having a pink Huffy bicycle. It's a pink Huffy. I wish someone had taken a picture of it, because I would have put it on my vision board now if I had it. But this was the bicycle I wanted so badly. I mean, it had on my Christmas list and everything. And the bicycle was such that there was a long seat so that you could actually fit 2 people on the bike. Now, this was, we were kids, right? And so my best friend, who lived right next door to me, did not have a bicycle at the time. And she would always ride with me. And I was, we were riding in a group. And I'll never forget one day when we were all riding along, and she was trying to, she was running along and trying to hop on the bike with me. And then we were going to keep with the rest of the group. And she kept telling me to slow down, slow down, slow down. Well, I slowed down so that she could hop on, try to hop on. But I slowed down so much that I lost my momentum. The bike is struggling, she's struggling, we're struggling, the rest of the group is going, right? And we wound up toppling down on the ground, right? Because I had slowed down so much. Here's the thing I want to offer to you as a metaphor, an analogy, or what have you. Life is not going to slow down for you to hop on and just keep going along, right? Life is not going to slow down. Life is not going to slow down and come to a halt for you to jump on board, okay? And when life does slow down that much to a complete halt, you better watch out, because something unsavory is probably about to happen. You're probably going to be so ill or so whatever the case may be. When life slows down to a complete halt so that you can jump on, you're probably going to be too fatigued or out of position to even jump on. You don't need life to slow down. You need to get up to speed to jump on to life. Now, what do I mean? That doesn't mean exhaustion. That doesn't mean like, oh, you've got to do all the things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about caring for yourself enough that you have the energy, you have the clarity, you have the focus. You're doing the work to get yourself in position to hop onto your life wherever you can fit in. There's a saying, the vernacular is, get in where you can fit in, okay? Wherever you can get in on life and on your dreams, get in right there. No one's saying that you have to be, an Olympian at this and win all the awards at jumping in on life or starting your business or whatever it is you want to do. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to get on, right? So in my metaphor or analogy or whatever, I slowed down, but she wasn't speeding up. She's just standing there, waiting almost for me to completely come to a stop, which I did. And at that point, there's the story, there's the analogy. So what I'm saying is, let's start doing the work so that you can get in on your life, that you're not waiting. See, because here's the other thing. I could have just kept going and said, you know what? I'm not going to slow down. You're not in position anyway. And she would have missed the boat altogether. She'd have been still standing there and all the rest of us would have kept going. And that's funny because that's what they did. They kept going. They were going at a reasonable speed. They were, enjoying their ride. They weren't going to stop and wait for the rest of us. And then we've got to, go up this hill together or what have you. They were already in position, in momentum. Life is about momentum. Life is moving. Life is going forward. You need to move forward with your life. Don't keep saying as soon as, because I'll tell you what, that soon as is never going to happen. As soon as that space happens, something else is going to fill the space. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I can't tell you how many times people have said, oh, as soon as my daughter goes to middle school, well, guess what? The daughter goes to middle school and then here comes grandpa. He's got to live with you because he fell another time. As soon as I do, pay off these bills, I'm going to, enroll in graduate school. Well, guess what? You pay off the bills. Now you need a new roof. Okay, that's going to be $12,000. I will tell you, I don't have the hands or fingers enough to count the number of times that people have said those words, as soon as. What they're basically saying is, I'm waiting for life to slow down enough so that I can jump on. That's not going to happen. You get in where you can fit in, even if that means, all I'm going to do is just write down 5 things that make me really happy. Like I told this colleague of mine, I said, you know what I think you should do? Write down the 5 biggest reasons right now why you want to do this thing, why you want to, pursue these, rural initiatives. And I always start with why, a strong why, because a strong why is going to be what gets you out of bed every morning, right? A strong why, not a strong no. Okay. Because a lot of times we're leaning into the things we don't want. Oh my God, I hate this job. I'm so over it. My boss is doing this. They're doing that. We've got 50,000 things to describe what we don't want and nothing to describe what we do want, right? So that strong leading why, 5 strong whys. And so she was telling me she started telling me about her whys. I said, give me your whys right now. Every single why that she mentioned was a core value, and she didn't see that. I said, do you see that these whys that you're giving me are related to your core values because you're tired of the dishonesty? You want to work with integrity. You want to do work that has meaning and purpose in your life. You want to leave a legacy. You want to do, good work for people who are underserved, in rural communities and Native American communities. Do you see how this is tied to your core values? So when you lead from your core values, when you lean into that, when you jump on that bike of core value from your core values, that is what gets that momentum going, right? So anyhow, I just wanted to share that with you, that may be something you want to take out of your lexicon. That as soon as, because basically what you're telling your subconscious and what you're telling yourself is you are not ready. Basically what you're saying is, I want life to meet me here. No, you want to meet life as it's moving along. You want to jump on wherever you can jump on, wherever, okay? You want to get some good rest so you can wake up with clarity. You want to do some time blocks on your morning calendar, okay? If it means getting up a half an hour earlier, just to just start journaling, or to start brainstorming, or to start taking out your bujo. Bujo is short for bullet journal. Whatever it takes. Word clouds. I love word clouds. If it just takes 30 minutes every morning or 2 mornings a week to take out a sheet of paper, start doing word clouds. If you want to know what they are, just hit me with a DM or message there in the comments. If you're watching the replay, what's a word cloud? Do a word cloud every 30 minutes. What you are doing is training your brain. What you're doing is telling your subconscious and conscious mind that you are getting on board with life. You're not waiting for life to slow down or stop or whatever. You're getting on board. So start doing something. Start somewhere. Start running. Like I told my friend, I said, you know what? The next time this happens, if we don't start off together, the next time this happens, I want you to start running. Keep up with me so that then you can jump on, okay? We did the same thing with in another situation where we were doing skateboards, and I have the bruise here to prove it. It's still a scar there, but the thing is, she had to catch up with me. I was not going to come to a complete stop all over again, and now have to work even harder to catch up to the rest of the group, or pedal even harder because I've got more weight on my bicycle, the two of us together, okay? And that worked out. So just think about that. Think about the places in your life where you've just been waiting for the perfect condition to happen. And that year after year, you're sort of working on the same goals. Year after year, you're working on the same dream board. Year after year, you're feeling the same apathy, fatigue, burnout, whatever you want to call it, year after year. Let me tell you, folks, nothing is going to slow down enough for you to jump on board. You got to get in where you can fit in, okay? Let's start doing the work together. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about that sort of analogy, how that feels for you. If you don't get my Monday morning Mindset Mastery newsletter, think about signing up for it. I'm going to drop the link for it in the comments. I personally think it's good stuff. I've gotten a lot of replies to that newsletter like, Angel, keep it coming because this is good stuff. It's short, it's sweet, it's not selling you anything, like you don't have to do anything. It's free. It's just something for you to think about and something for you to start your week off with clarity, courage, and confidence. Because I think we all need that. We're living in some really interesting times all around the world. And if you're in the States, let me tell you, these are some really interesting times. So having something that helps you anchor into wisdom every Monday morning, just anchor into some good wisdom, I think will be helpful for you. I'm also, let me say this before I go, I'm doing this certification program, not because I am, like caught up in certifications and all that kind of thing, just because this is some really good stuff. I'm doing a certification that teaches heart coherence. Heart coherence for intelligent emotion management. Intelligent emotion management. Man, this is good stuff. So I'm going to be sharing that in the newsletter too, about the trainings in here for heart coherence. And I'll just tell you, it is really about the science of the connection between the brain and the heart and the heart and the brain. That there are chemical signals, get this folks, chemical signals that are sent from your heart to your brain and from your brain to your heart. So I'm studying that. I've got a few more modules to go, but that is going to be woven into my coaching to really, really help people dig down into and get heart coherence, to really help you change your life, not just your symptoms. This is some good stuff. I've been reading the studies. I've been up late at night reading, the clinical studies, the research studies that they're doing with heart coherence work and intelligent emotional regulation work. Because here's the thing. A lot of us have heard intelligent, emotional intelligence, but here's what we really need in this world today is emotional regulation. Learning how to regulate your emotions is huge work. I mean, it is a gift to yourself unlike any other gift. So I'm fascinated by this. You'll hear me talk about this in upcoming live sessions. I'll even share with you some in my feed, like some of my own heart rate variability tracings, so you can see what I'm doing with it and how I'm applying it in my own life. But anyhow, that's it. Be well, be good to yourself. Never, ever, ever, ever be afraid to be amazing. Catch up with your life this weekend. Do something good. Tomorrow's Earth Day. Good day to get out and just touch some grass, do some recycling, get some stuff, get some of that junk out of your closets that you're never going to wear again. Get rid of that clutter so that you can feel alive again. Pick 5 things that you just want to get rid of or that you can get rid of. If you really feel strong and really want to challenge yourself, pick something that has been hard for you to get rid of. I have 4 skirts in my closet that I know for sure I cannot fit, that I've been telling myself that I'm going to take over to the seamstress and get restitched to let it out a little bit more. But I'm probably not going to do that. If I haven't done that in 2 years, I'm probably not going to do that. So I think I'm going to take the leap tomorrow and upcycle those. There's a wonderful women's shelter that's not far from my office that I can donate those to. They're very lovely skirts. And I'm going to find out too about reentry programs, because a lot of times women who are reentering society from whether it be, imprisonment or other situations in their life, or from, living in shelter conditions, they really need a lot of support, and they need a lot of help with gaining the skills to dress appropriately for interviews and how to interview appropriately. So I really am thinking about taking my donations to a center like that, where my donations can be upcycled, not sold. So I think that's what I'm going to do for, now that I'm talking it out, I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow for Earth Day. I'm going to do something good and take those donations, make sure that they are accepting them for women who need those resources as they are reentering society. I think the earth will be happy for me, and happy pleased with me if I did that, so that things are not going in the trash or, being sold to someone who can't afford it in the first place and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, be well, be good to yourself. Never, ever, ever be afraid to be amazing. Be back here next Friday because I'll be live again and talking about something good. And be on my mailing list. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's Mindset Mastery, comes out every Monday to help you launch your week with clarity, courage, and confidence. So take good care. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next Friday, if not before. Bye-bye. Happy Earth Day. Bye-bye.